The court has ruled that COVID-19 patients may not be forced into a state quarantine. The High Court in Pretoria has ruled that government may not force patients who test positive for COVID-19 into compulsory state quarantine if they are able to self-isolate. AfriForum says that the court ruling is a victory after challenging regulations signed by the Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Ministry under the Disaster Management Act on April 29th. For more on this, we are now joined by Monique Taute from AfriForum. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining us here on SABC News.
Yes, AfriForum achieved a victory in the North Gauteng High Court in Pretoria, and the judge granted AfriForum's urgent application to declare that the regulations that were aimed at putting everyone who tested positive for COVID-19 under compulsory state quarantine invalid. The department failed to oppose AfriForum's application, and the minister agreed that AfriForum's application should be made an order of court, which determines that the regulation should be read in such a manner that people who are able to effectively self-isolate be able to do so.
All right, just remind us again what AfriForum's argument was that, of course, you indeed brought forward to the court. Just take us back for the sake of our viewers, if you can, please.
So AfriForum's application was based on the fact that the regulations are unconstitutional, illegal and irrational. The regulations determine, among other, that everyone who tested positive for COVID-19, regardless of whether they show any symptoms, can be put in government isolation facilities. So the regulations would have given the state the power to force people without their permission into quarantine, even under circumstances where the person can effectively self-isolate. So it would consequently have given law enforcers and the state too much power under the guise of combating the spread of the virus, and that this would place an unnecessary burden on the already limited state resources, and it would also lead to some people refusing to get tested from the fear of the compulsory state quarantine.
Do you have a sense or anticipate rather that perhaps the relevant minister and of course the state in essence would indeed appeal this decision, and are you then ready for such an appeal if you do anticipate that indeed that may happen, Monique?
The department did not oppose AfriForum's application, so that means that they will not be appealing. But AfriForum feels that the importance of civil rights organizations and institutions that oppose autocratic and irrational decisions made by government has become increasingly clear during this lockdown. When the government abuses its powers and tries to bully the public by violating people's rights, AfriForum will stand up against that to the benefit of everyone in the country. According to the United Nations, South Africa's lockdown regulations are toxic, and it seems that the regulations are no longer about the fight against the coronavirus for the government, but it has rather become something where the government's own communist agenda is being driven.
How sure are we that those people who you've referred to as people that are able to self-quarantine, that shouldn't be forced into state quarantine, will indeed adhere to these requirements of social distancing and so forth, and not put anyone else really in danger after they find out that they may be that they are COVID-19 positive, coronavirus positive? How sure are we that people would adhere to the rules of self-isolating and indeed staying home and not endangering anybody else?
I think each and every person in South Africa has the responsibility to self-isolate if they are tested positive or if they show symptoms. There is laws in place to deal with people who not adhere to social distancing and self-quarantine. So that laws are in place. What we are talking about is people who are effectively self-isolating. They should not be able to be forced into quarantine by the state.
All right, Monique Taute from AfriForum, thank you very much for chatting to us here on SABC News. Thank you.